listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Radio's authority on the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology, celebrating 25 years of broadcasting. Broadcasting around the world and to the great beyond.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at www.drgibbswilliams.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Gwilda Wiyaka's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the Science of Magic or endorsed in any manner by Gwilda Wiyaka, Relmar McConnell Media Company, its affiliated networks, stations, or employees. Welcome to the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, a program dedicated to uncovering the unified nature of reality and humanity's ever-evolving place as truly galactic beings. For more information on the Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit us online at www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome to the Science of Magic, a place where science and magic come together to transform fact into evolving truth. We are coming to you through the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net, and can also be found on our website, www.thescienceofmagic.net. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour we'll be exploring Numbers Don't Lie. Gigi, you must count the leaves on the stem when trimming the rose so it'll bloom again, my Celtic grandmother instructed, as she held a withered rose bloom in one gnarled hand and clippers in the other. Find the first grouping of 5 leaves and cut just above it, she indicated the spot with the clipper's blades. Why 5, I inquired. It's the gateway for the next generation of blooms. Offer tobacco to the largest plant, but do not cut from it. Cut only 3 stems from each of the other plants, my Arapaho teacher spoke as he instructed me on the proper harvesting of sage. Why 3, I wanted to know. It's neither too much nor too little, he responded. Wiyaka, bring 7 of the grandfathers to the fire pit and sage them, my Lakota teacher requested, indicating the pile of volcanic rocks. We're building the lodge fire for the Nipi ceremony. Why 7, I queried. 1 for each of the directions. Evenly space 16 holes around the outside of the drum head, the Lakota drum builder advised. Why 16? It's 4 groupings of 4, the same number as the lodgepoles of the nipi. It's needed to carry your birth cord. What's my birth cord? The tone you came to live. It's the formula that proves the theory, my German math teacher tried to explain. How can a formula prove a theory? Numbers don't lie. As long as I can remember, numbers have held deep significance to my teachers, regardless of their subject matter or nationality. Eventually, I came to understand that numbers, colors, and tones all carry corresponding vibrations that open gateways into the esoteric realms. It's not as if the esoteric realms aren't always there, but rather that through aligning with numbers, colors, or tones, we can shift our awareness to access them. This is the basis behind the complex African drum rhythms passed down through family lines, the sacred colors used in shamanic shields, the precise notes in Gregorian chants, the offset tones of Tibetan bells, the sacred geometry used in building temples, and so on. Many of these methods are ancient indeed. Shamanism has been around for well over 50,000 years, and every form on the planet includes a deep understanding and ceremonial use of numbers, colors, and tones. It stands to reason, as shaman are frequency masters. Numbers, colors, and tones are frequencies. We all come in with a numerical color and tonal representation of our life path, hidden in our chakra system, auric field, DNA, date of birth, and our names. These patterns can be decoded through the understanding and application of various numerical sciences. Numerology, astrology, and even shamanism employ methods of decoding frequency that can map the currents running through our lives. Through mastering the frequency of numbers, colors, and tones, we not only read past, present, and future events, we can effect a change in the title of life. All the above can be used to correct imbalances, facilitating healing. They can also be used to influence events and affect outcome. From roses to snowflakes, everything in nature contains specific patterning that repeats, dictating expression. Even our DNA is a light code of numerical values that we manifest around. Its hidden patterning unites all, this hidden patterning unites all life, yet for the most part, we're unaware of the potential power at our disposal. So how can the average person make use of this magical science? Our guest this hour, Gail Minogue, is the author of Divine Design, How You Created the Life You're Living. Gail is an authority in the symbolic relationship of numbers in our lives, with solid experience as a commodities broker since 1987 and a history of offering visionary viewpoints on world events. Monique combines many disciplines to deliver wise perspectives coupled with practical understanding of trends and events, past, present, and future. Through the use of sacred geometry and other forms, Gail is able to bridge worlds. Clients have included major law firms, nonprofit, executives, business owners, and numerous civic organizations. After this commercial break, I'll introduce Gail, and together we'll explore numbers and what they can tell us about our lives. So don't go away. You're listening to The Science of Magic. Prior innovative episodes can always be found on our website, www.thescienceofmagic.net.
Join High Tech with Corey K. weekly here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. From the world of computers to the ever-popular computerized gadgetry that are becoming part of our everyday life and living and society. From kids and their gaming devices, teens and their smartphones, to the applications of personal and business computers. From hardware to software, from standalone units to network computers. Join high-tech guru Corey K. weekly right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network as he takes on the topics that will be of use and great value to the international audience of the X-Zone Broadcast Network. High Tech with Corey K. weekends at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide wherever books are sold.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is Gail Minogue, author of Divine Design, How You Created the Life You're Living. Her website, www.gailminogue.com. That's GailMinogue.com. Gail, thank you so much for joining us on The Science of Magic.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
You have some interesting views on reincarnation and our participation in planning out each lifetime. Would you speak to this for starters?
Certainly. Yeah, we do. We plan our lives in advance before we come in. We put together that program. We name ourselves. We have a great deal of information in the name that we choose. And then we take this name and impress it upon our parents' subconscious to give to us at birth. So we basically name ourselves. And from this, we start out on a road with a complete blueprint for our lives. The day we are born as well has a great deal to do with it. But basically, the prior planning is extremely important, and you will use the opportunity to come here, to reincarnate here, to work with some issues that you may have had left over, or imbalances, shall we say. Basically, they're imbalances. And you'll come in with this plan, very concise, very precise. However, most of us have no clue that we even have one.
So we don't even recognize we have a life's path, and yet here we are living it. How does that work?
We're living it. Yeah, I had a gentleman one time. I was in a bookstore in San Rafael, and talking in this, I had a letter from him later on. He was a retired gentleman at well over 65, and he wrote to me and he said, I wish we had learned all this in kindergarten before we messed up. And basically he's right. We don't have a clue. Our parents don't know we have this. And then we start to live the life kind of going forward as life takes us, but without really understanding some of our own programming. It's not till we go through what we call maybe midlife crisis, or maybe the end of your 30s, 40s, one of these major times that you'll start to wake up. But it's particularly at 49 to 50 where the big change comes.
Is that why we do have midlife crisis? Why we feel like, oh my gosh, our life is slipping by and I haven't done what I wanted to, even though I don't know what that is?
Right. Yeah. Our lives are lived. Your date of birth is like you're owed you're on road highway 10 for the rest of your life because that would be the road you would have chosen. That's from your date of birth. But the soul has its own cycle as well, and the soul is on a 7-year cycle. So every 7th year, the soul downloads everything it learned and imprints itself, because what you will take out of here is what the soul has learned. And so it carries with it forward to the 14 age and then the 21, 28. It takes 7 soul cycles, or the age of 49, to really be integrated enough here to really be effective and to free yourself. And you free yourself in your 5s, or say 50 to 60. You free yourself in your 5s to go ahead and live the life that was more intended rather than what you should have lived, or what your parents told you should live, or society told you should live. So there's a lot of midlife crisis. The 40s are so intense about work, because that's a work number of 4, 10 years of it. But you'll wake up one day and say, what am I doing and why? What have I done? What's the whole purpose of this?
That sounds like every morning of my life.
Yeah, well, it's good to question, and it's good to process. And one of the things now we have in our society, because it's moving so fast, is that we don't process an event that's happened to us. We just go on to the next thing. And we never process it, so they kind of stack up. And we have the largest amount of antidepressants of any developed country in the world. We sell the biggest amount here. And because
it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's also, this is a very unique hothouse. The United States is a 5-country blueprint set up to develop the individual. So people who come here, reincarnate here, come here by plane, boat, or over the border, what is happening here is they're learning to develop as individual. That means they have to leave a tribe to do that, and it's a very lonely road. So we have a lot of, I don't want to say transients, but the whole country is constantly moving internally.
So that brings me to an interesting point, is that what does location have to do with things? Or do you see that numerically, maybe, how you find the place on the planet, does that figure into where we are, where we're drawn to be as well?
Yes.
Longitude, latitude is what I was trying to say.
You're going to consider, like, I think I'm done with this location, or it's not been good to me, or whatever the reason, or you're being given a promotion or assignment, you need to look into the place where you think you are going. And you need to look up the date of incorporation of that place to find out the blueprint of that place, because every country has a blueprint, every city, every state, every house, every car. It's all numerics. The entire universe is made up of basically numbers. We call them numbers. It's basically energy. But yes, so you could go to a city and it would not be something that would really support you. It might not be your finest place, or you may be in a place and you say, I don't know why, ever since I've been here I've not prospered, or I've not whatever. So you need to know how that place affects your own blueprint.
Do you think that we are automatically, if we're listening to our internal guidance or our gut, that we're automatically pulled to the right place at the right time, or do we have to figure it out mentally through numbers?
Well, I think combination-wise, you're always, if you listen to your gut, which most people do not.
Don't.
They do not listen to their gut. If they did, they would know this is either not the right time to go, or there's something very terrific about it that I need to go. And I may not know why, but I need to know and go. What can support you on that is to find out more about the place that you're going to go to. For instance, California, very different place. I remember I said the country is a 5 from its blueprints, July 4, 1776. It's a 5. And the California state, from its date of birth and of founding, is also a 5. Both of these things, United States and the state of California, are catalysts of change for the world. So it's constantly in motion. It's constantly creating new things. Now, if you go to California, are you ready to put up with that kind of energy? Can you handle it?
Yeah, that's really a good point. If you're not ready for change, don't go there.
Yeah, if you're not ready to be changed, don't go there. Because people say, oh my gosh, it's like, whoa. And it's like many states in one, but it's all under the number 5. And it has its very different profile, and it's why it keeps coming up with these new ideas, new laws, new to do, and it attracts people because, again, the 5, the whole United States attracts people who are ready to make a change.
So how did you learn about this process of reincarnation and how numbers fit?
Well, golly gee, many years ago, I was sent to Houston, Texas, of all places, to open up an office for a corporation, help open their office there. And I was basically very involved with business. I certainly wasn't looking into numerology or Pythagorean theorems of math or anything. And I literally had one night, I was home alone, I had a visitor, like a visitor priestly figure that just appeared and instructed me to study Pythagoras and Zen. And I'm like, wow. And I wouldn't tell a soul, but I began, what is this and why is this? Because it was so real and it was so out of the ordinary. And I wouldn't tell anybody. But I did begin a study of Pythagorean theorems and the... So
would you mind saying what that is?
Well, it's mathematics, higher mathematics, and if you understand, there was a school in Crotona about 600 BC, and Pythagoras was a mathematician, shall we say, who worked with sacred geometry, or the geometry of the universe, and that everything is in this perfect mathematical order. And we still use it, that's where we get pi. And we have the Fibonacci codes and how everything is ordered and precisely. So even in trading, in commodity trading, we had systems. We used computer systems, and one of them was called the chaos theory. And we literally traded in chaos because there's no such thing as chaos. It just looks like it. And so I began that study, and then it began to go into other areas, and you start to get into astrology, and you start to get into the constellations, and and then the music of the spheres. And we used to be able to listen. There were NASA recordings of the music coming off of Jupiter, coming off of Earth. It was phenomenal. So everything is this tone, like you said, sound, color, and that moves energy. And we give it a numeric number. But in the word one, if I say the word one, there's actually 4 sounds in that one word. So we learn to give numbers assigned to certain colors, numbers assigned to everything, and chemical formulas, numeric. So I can't even say, why would somebody not think that they, too, have a perfect order within themselves? But our society does not support this. The ancients did. They were very steeped in this. But modern day it's stepped aside. It's very bereft of its natural energy. So the more we get away from nature, the more sick we get.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
The rhythm. Number 7 rules paradoxity in nature. So the further you get away from nature, the more dysfunctional you become.
I find that interesting because number 7 is such a predominant number in a lot of shamanic practices.
7 is a very powerful number. It was taught by Pythagoras to have, if you draw the number 7, there's what they call a divine triangle inside it. It's really man being raised to its upper level. Or you look at the 1 and then the slash across the top. But 7 is when everything rests and the soil rests, and it's a completion period. Soil rests. We're supposed to rest in our 7th personal year. It takes 7 years to water to circumnavigate the globe and come back to its source. 7 is a powerful number of attraction as well. So
go ahead.
We think in different cycles. The soul has a 7 cycle of years. And if you look at us and you come out of your 20s, about that time you're ready to start childhood, but it's actually 4 cycles of the number 7. So, you always want to look at your birthday, and continue on from age 7. Every 7th year you have a soul cycle. So you need to listen to what your gut is telling you when you have these birthdays, whether it's 49 or 70 or 77, or 83, whatever. These are powerful birthdays to listen to your intuition, listen to what it's trying to get through to you. we're learning. We're just learning. Coming to Earth is such an adventure because we have two things we will learn here, whether we like it or not. We will learn free will choice.
Ooh, we're going to have to pick up on this on the other side. We'll talk about what the things we come to learn on the other side of this commercial break. Gail and I will return to our discussion after this short break. You're listening to The Science of Magic on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Previous broadcasts of thought-provoking episodes can always be found on our website, www.thescienceofmagic.net. We will be back, so don't you go away.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
The scientist and the mystic have been on an age-old, relentless search with one thing in common. They seek truth. Their paths converge in the 40,000-year-old practice of shamanism, an ancient science delving to the quantum level of life, facilitating healing, manifestation, and evolution. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, the founder and director of Path Home Shamanic Arts School, a unique Colorado State certified occupational school training shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also provide classes for empowering personal lives through shamanism. Our certification classes are in week-long segments enabling international participation, and online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions are available. Come discover the science of magic in the limitless world of shamanism. www.findyourpathhome.com.
This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, a place where magic and science come together to promote enlightenment. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our guest this hour is Gail Minogue, author of Divine Design, How You Create the Life You're Living. Her website, www.gailminogue.com. Gail, we were just about to talk about how we kind of renew ourselves every 7 years. Is that a good way of putting it?
I would say we renew, we consolidate every 7 years and move to another state of higher awareness. And so everything is downloaded on a 7th birthday that we did the prior 7 years. So everything is kept. So when we leave, we take it with us.
Now, I've seen in my life, and I've seen in other people's lives, how maybe that doesn't always hold true. Maybe we're not moving up to another level. We're just kind of stuck or stagnated. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, the personality may feel very stuck. The soul is not. We live through these personalities here. We create them. We number them coming in. So we are very much, some are very quiet, some are boisterous, some are what have you, very courageous. But the soul knows what it's doing. It's running the show. And when it wants to go or when it's leaving, whether the personality likes it or not, it's going to do what it has to do. So the soul will go through the learning experience created here, will continue to move from, I call it from glory to glory, or from awareness to awareness every 7th birthday. And it takes about a year. So people who feel they're stuck, they may be stuck temporarily. They may go through some of it. We usually, I would say, learn best through difficult times. We don't learn when it's easy. We learn the best through more difficult times. We have to manage ourselves. And that's really our biggest levels of growth. And we feel we're probably the most stuck or the most frustrated. There's something going on, whether it's change or patience, that you're being taught.
It's very much a shamanic concept as well, is that, it's all well and good being happy, happy, joy, joy, but the bottom line is we're tempered by the difficult times. That's when we have to rally, make changes, reevaluate, process, or not. So you're seeing that the soul goes through these things, but the personality may or may not cooperate. But once it's time for the soul to leave, does it leave the personality behind?
The personality behind, but what it takes with it is everything it learned. It incorporates all of it. So the bits and pieces and fragments, which we have within inside this physical form, a real astral body that is, going to go on past this place, the spirit, whatever is going on beyond this. So our temporary encasement here, and the personality that we are to utilize while we're here is very different than what the soul is all about.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to take a look at what are we trying to achieve here, and that's in the name. The name will tell you the destiny that you're going towards in this lifetime.
How does that? I'm sorry. How does that work? How does the name tell you?
Well, every letter in the name has a significance. A is a 1, B is a 2, and they set up the way it's formed, the way the name and the letters combine, what's not there, what's an excessive amount of one number, what's not enough of one number, will tell you a lot about their past, the person's past, and what their talents are coming in. So what that all totals and reduces to in some aspects, what it reduces to, the full total of every letter in that name, is the destiny of that individual for this particular life. So say, for instance, in my own incidents, I have a 9 destiny. My name my letters total up to a 90. So the 9 is a big indicator of direction. I'm on road such and such, but I've got to arrive at this place. And this place is number 9. And this place is all about universality, humanity, assisting with others, learning to let go. Because the finishing number, there's no other number after 9. And so 9s have always have to come in and learn detachment. It's a big deal here to not become so attached. So if you don't want to learn that, then we will teach you how to detach. And so anytime somebody has a 9 life path from their date of birth, or they have a 9 destiny, the biggest lesson is about detachment. So you can be in this world but not of it. You can use it but not depend upon it. Now, if you know that, you can conduct your life very differently if you didn't know that. You'd wonder why these things happen, blah, 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 etc. But if you can hook your work up to combine it in some way that it benefits the masses or helps humanity advance, this is where your greatest success will lie. And 9s, you hear the expression, someone's dressed to the 9s. That means they usually are very, they're really put together well, because 9 has all numbers inside of it. So if I took 5 and 9 would be 14, it would still be a 5. Anything you add to 9 will still be the same number. So the 9, we say, has all numbers inside it. So someone is dressed as a 9, or it's got that 9 energy. It's always beautiful. It's involved with art, sculpture, photography, etc. And there's a youthful look to a 9 that's given to the 9 so they can attract those that they can help and serve.
So it's a number of service?
It's definitely a number of service, but not like the number 6. It's a more of a detachment. It's more like a Gandhi number. You have to be detached. And,
okay, I've got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it's different than, say, a Mother Teresa. That would be more 6 energy where we help and serve, but a 9 is, here, my friends, I'm going to do this to help advance society, but I can't stay attached to your village.
Okay, so like more like Kuan Yin. Oh, well,
Yeah.
more suffering needed.
Yeah. 9s don't necessarily have to suffer if they get it. If they
No, I meant the one around them.
Yeah, if they understand what it's about, they don't have to suffer. If they don't, then we have to take it away, and then they suffer.
There we go. So how does a birth date factor in here?
Well, the birth date is extremely important. It gives you the timing, and it gives you the direction or the life path. The major learning lesson of your life is from your date of birth. For instance, the United States is a 5, so it's born on a 4 day. So 4 is a very hard-working number. So the United States, Americans work really hard. They pride work. They go to workshops. When they go to the gym, they work out. So it's about work, all about work. I mean, we just, we take our phones and we go on. The Europeans think we're crazy because we work. We get 2 weeks and we think that's a big deal of vacation. But the direction that you go is going to be on a 5 because that's the total of the date of birth. So the total of the date of birth gives you the road you're going to be on, the major learning lesson, and you cannot get off it. So if you have, say, a 3 life path from your date of birth, it's a very creative number. You have a gift of the word and to bring joy. So a lot of these people are into realms where they're in advertising or creative fields or decorating or, interior design. Also a lot of authors, writers, because they have the gift of the word. And the comedians, event planners, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Teachers, but teachers like motivational and stuff like that. And
so why do you think that some people are driven to change their name, and how does getting married and taking on a married name fit in here?
Some people don't like their names at all, and they blame their parents for naming them that. They don't realize they did it. And once you get here, if it's registered somewhere, you don't have to use it. You needed to get it. So if my name is Barbara and I don't like it at all, I might like the name Meredith. Well, I'm going to change it, but I never lose Barbara, never. So people who say, "Well, I want a name change." Sure, and a lot of people do. I'm in Los Angeles. We have a lot of people with fictitious names, and But it doesn't matter. You never lose the blueprint. When I do a private session for a client, I had a person with 4 names because they were adopted, they were in prison, and et cetera. You have to go back to the original source, and you're going to find all the issues and the answers are all lying right there. But you can call yourself anything you like when you're here. Now, the last name, particularly for the female, which is usually the one who changes the last name, and takes on, say, the husband's name, the inheritance of a person from the family of origin is in the last name. So you also help the person that you're carrying that with the karma of that group. And one of the things I always point out to people, if you have a letter O in the last name, there's always an issue coming in on sugar issues. So it's always very important, if you have an O in your last name or you're taking on the O of someone else, there's sugar issues, so you need to lay off the sugar, meaning diabetes, hypoglycemia, something with the pancreas. So the letter O is very telling. A lot of these letters will tell you issues that are coming in with that person.
So the letters and the numbers not only tell you about your life's path, but also what physical challenges you may have and that sort of thing?
Yeah. There's also what we call karmic debt numbers. They're 13, 14, 16, and 19. If you notice that a lot of unpleasant events in the world happen on a 19 day, like Waco bombing or the shot heard around the world, Lexington and Concord, you find these events happening on 19 days. So someone, say, is born on a 19 day. There's a karmic debt there that is on abuse of power. And Bill Clinton was born in a 19 days, so not surprised he had this event where they almost impeached him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's old stuff going on. And 16 is, again, another, I could go through each one of these, but 13, 14, 16, and 19 are karmic debts that must be worked out in this particular life, not postponed.
So by karmic debt, you mean something that we came in, and now it's our chance to process through it.
Right, something that we, I had, 16 is always faith over fear. So usually there's going to be an event that's going to happen that you will have to have all the faith in the world to get through. For instance, I had a client who was accused of child molestation. It was a huge scandal. Persons in Hollywood thought they could really make some money from the family. It was a major court event. I had to testify, I remember, and this 16 was so prominent, and I had to counsel the person saying, look, this is the test, okay? My feeling was he was going to get through this, but it was going to be really unpleasant. It changed his life forever, and he got through it and was found innocent, but it was, that's a terrible smear.
It is. It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad, and that is definitely not surprising of a 16 incident. Doesn't have to be that severe, but
well, we're gonna have to pick up again on the other side of a break. Gail and I will be back on the flip side of this commercial break, and we're going to talk about music of the spheres. You're listening to The Science of Magic on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net, the place where altruistic professionals of science and the esoteric create common ground for the betterment of our world. You can always listen to previous transformative broadcasts on our website, www.thescienceofmagic.net.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
If you enjoy reading a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love From Out of the Woodwork by William S. Peckham. Sean Kennedy, a Toronto contractor, buys derelict houses, guts them, and turns them into multi-family dwellings. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, a century house in ruins, and starts the renovation, the house fights back. He is visited by ghosts of owners past. His visions are triggered by touching an oak mantle, reading a faded letter, opening an old locket, or opening a brand new casket in the basement. These visions will take you on a trip across southern Ontario from Niagara Falls to Toronto to Kingston. From Out of the Woodwork is now available in paperback and on your favorite electronic reader. To order your copy of From Out of the Woodwork, go to www.williamspeckham.com. That's www.williamspeckham.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Welcome back. This is The Science of Magic, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. Our special guest this hour is Gail Minogue, author of Divine Design, How You Created the Life You Are Living. Her website, www.gailminogue.com. Gail, we agreed, or I dictated before we closed down our last segment, that we would talk about the music of the spheres. And what I am hearing you say and what I've experienced myself is numbers, not math, but numbers play a part in everything from what goes on our planet clear out intergalactically. Can you speak to this?
Yes, I mean, I think one of the things that would help us is to understand how we are tied to the heavens, that we just don't come here and separate what's outside of this from us, and that we constantly are affected by what's going on in the heavens or the sky or whatever the universe. And when we are born and take our first breath here, we are imbued with the energy of the planetary alignment at the time of our birth. So, for instance, I have a sun in Aquarius. I would inhale or enhance myself through the magnetism of that at that moment in time. It's like impressed upon the moment in time. And the rest of my chart would all be accordingly at the time of my birth. This was there, this was this, this was this. And so everything is in complete place, and we stay tied to the heavens throughout our entire existence here. And I mentioned we come here for two particular reasons, is to learn free will choice, set within certain parameters that we set for ourselves, and to work with emotional energy here. This is a great house. This is like going to University Earth for emotional energy and free will choice. When we are to leave, we will. We return to another dimension, and so we never forget that we're tied to the heavens. Everything is sound, tone, color, just as you had said, and we give this numeric so that we can work with it, and we use it here efficiently or not efficiently. So we are very tied to what's going on outside of there, and I think it's very important for people, because one of the things that I find more and more is that people are very afraid of death and dying and the process, and that once we understand that we're tied out there, it also gives us a deeper connection to our source or how we were created in the first place, etc., which gets more complicated, but safe to say we're really heavenly bound. We're bound all the time.
More questions coming to my mind. One of them is, so as I'm hearing you say it, and correct me if I'm wrong, when we come in, our spirit is imprinted with the energy of the spheres at the time of our and place of our birth. So this creates an imprint.
At a cellular level. We're magnetized at a cellular level by the planetary alignment at our instant of we take our first breath.
Got it. And so then that's the wave we ride, however we choose, for the rest of this particular Earth walk.
Exactly. You have free will choice to ride it out with inside that system that you set up.
Got it. And so what you make of it is really up to you, and you get your lessons one way or the other. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. So, for instance, I may have a situation where this is the intention to have this event or this sort of thing can occur. However, due to these other, say, factors in my birth chart, this can many times, we'll call it grace, soften it. It's not so bad, it's say, oh, I got through that and it wasn't so bad, or something like that. It all depends how you will respond. And remember, you're magnetized by the planetary alignment. You may have a great deal of mental energy coming in due to having alignment with, say, what we'll call mental energy, with maybe a lot of air in your chart. Air, fire, earth, and water are
right,
the
the good old elements.
Yeah, they make up your being. And so how you will respond to something, you may respond to it in a very mental way. It just all depends. But the blueprint and letters themselves, I will mention here, are very masculine or feminine. You can also tell past life. We've all switched gender. We've been both, men, women, back again to women, men, etc. And so I find it ironic now that people are really, really locked into their particular gender, where they've been other genders in other lives too. So it's very integrated. So it's fascinating, particularly in light of how we're waking up to, quote, transgender
right
now.
Yeah, a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
And I think these are the times when the lines are blurring and everything's kind of going into this big smelting pot before we go through a big transition. So I guess it's no surprise.
Transition.
Yeah.
And a huge Aquarian age that was introduced to the world a few hundred years ago. At the same time as the finding of the planet Uranus, about 1781, was the same time the birthing of the United States. So the United States is basically helping to usher in the Aquarian age.
Exactly.
So it's powerful. It's going to get more so. We just crossed over the 2000 mark, which is the rise of the female energy about the next 1,000 years. So you're seeing all the issues, the good, the bad, and the ugly, from the rise of the female energy. It really has a lot of issues. The number 2 is a feminine number, and so it's now about interdependence, cooperation. So we have 16 years of the 2 out of 1,000. So we're just starting, but it's definitely, the difference is easily seen.
Yeah, everything is
selection.
Yeah, everything is shifting, isn't it?
Yes, and a lot of people can't handle the energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very intense. I've got another question about, we come in, like we said, we come in and we pick a wave, we take our first breath. That dictates the wave that we're traveling this lifetime. How does that move from lifetime to lifetime? Do we come in and take totally different astrological effects when we come in, so that we have different lessons?
We have learned this, for instance, on a planning phase of another life. If you choose to come back here, or what other dimension you're planning to go to, you will put together another plan. Now, do you want to come back with an imbalance? How do you want to do this? What do you need to, are you going to come back as, what's going to be the role? Then you'll set up that planetary alignment to accommodate the role.
Got it. So
there's nothing left to just whimsically land here. Now, having said that, in the name, you can see if a person is repeating a life over.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, yeah. And what I usually call that, to make it sound palatable, I just say, well, they had a plan on this dusty old shelf. They picked it up, opened it up, and they say, I think I'll do this again. But actually, they're reliving something over, and so the lessons are more intense.
Yeah, okay.
The further they try to get away from that lesson, or they overdo it, the harder their life is.
So, in other words, we need to read the small print?
Yes. Yes. That's a very good way to say it, right.
It seems like we're always very enthusiastic and optimistic on the other side, and then we get here and we go, what was I thinking?
Exactly. Why did I raise my hand, But it is all good. It's just, sometimes people really, they'll say, well, I shouldn't have come here, or what have you. I'm never coming back. I hear a lot of that. I'm never coming back. I'm never doing this again. Then they get out of here. They no longer have that ego personality. And, it's very different. There it's not the same as here.
It's just like having a baby. It's like,
Yeah.
when you're going through it, you're going never again. And when you get that baby in arms, can we do it again?
Yeah, I know.
Before we run out of time, sweetie, would you mind telling people where they can find your book?
Oh, they can find it on my website, gailminogue.com. They can find it in libraries. They can find it on Amazon, whatever. And anybody in the LA area, I'm going to do a workshop August 20th in Southern California on the rise in power of the middle-aged female, which is a big, powerful trend coming in 2024. And that's being prepared now. It's all in the I Ching. It's all there for this period. It's Jupiter period. It's in preparation right now. 20 years of preparation and then 20 years of real power.
That's amazing. So and here we have all the baby boomers with all of us middle-aged ladies around, right?
Yeah, and so it's a long trend. My workshop is August 20th, and they can find the book on my website. I do private work for clients, for businesses, what have you. But it's all fascinating.
It is a fascinating subject. I have about 30 seconds left. Do you have something to share with the listeners in closing?
Well, I think that you do yourself a great disservice if you don't bother to find out what is your life path, what's your destiny, what's missing in your name, what are the karmic letters that you don't have, what can you do to help yourself, and to understand that a blueprint's very long. It's about 120 years at least. There's no such thing as retirement ever. That's man-made. So one should have many different careers, 70s, 80s. They should be working, functioning well into their 90s, and that's when you go into your wisdom years.
So it's just starting for a lot of us.
Retirement. Pardon me?
So it's just starting for a lot of us rather than ending.
Yeah, midlife is 60, and that's how you want to look at it. And it's artificial. So guess what? Retirement plans are going away. They're underfunded. They're not working. People are scared because they won't have enough. all these things. So they are being...
You know, time has flown and we're out of it. Gail, this has been so wonderful. Thanks for being on The Science of Magic. This has been The Science of Magic. Remember, you can always listen to past thought-provoking episodes on our website, www.thescienceofmagic.net. Until next time, dear ones, may you be blessed with knowledge and comforted with love as you live your life's path.